unprecedented in Nigeria. The ruling party will actually lose the election even before the ballot is cast. If
Mm.
they go about this in the wrong way, and then one, two, or three aspirants were wrongly forced to withdraw from this race in the name of consensus, I assure you, if they go to court, APC has already lost the election even before the first ballot is cast. You see, it's just that sometimes these cabals and these political parties are actually antithesis of democracy itself. What is the harm? What is the fear of allowing an open contest? If you are not going to allow it, an open contest, where did you allow people, so many people, to buy the nomination forms, despite the huge amount of money pegged for the nomination forms? Forms were sold to 23 people. That's 2.3 billion naira.
Mm. But
That's
but
humongous.
but Aliyu, that form sales and all of that, was it not the party just trying to raise funds for their party, to make sure that they are
For
well
what?
funded?
For
Because,
what?
huh?
For whatever reason it is, you shouldn't sell forms to people if you are not going to allow them to have an open contest.
Hmm. I get you.
So
Very
have
valid.
sold this haven't sold this form to this number of people. The least you can do is to let them have their day with the delegates. Let them come back and campaign to the delegates. Let the delegates decide. That is what the law provides. Besides, the president himself, the National Working Committee of the party are all enjoying their by virtue of the laws which they're supposed to uphold. Let also the delegates perform their duty assigned to them by law. You don't take away the power granted the delegates by law in the name of consensus. If you must do consensus according to the law. Let the aspirant decide willingly, voluntarily, and freely. But if they against that, I assure you the election will have been won and lost at this convention.
Someone is saying, I repeat, APC is not doing consensus. You didn't put your name. You sound like you're an APC member. But it's fine. But I mean, thank you so much, Ali. If you had one thing to say to the APC, if they are listening, because I think some of them are listening, this is that they are attacking us. What would you
And
say?
this,
What would you say to them?
this is my party shot. In the interest of the party, in the interest of their continued existence as a ruling party, they should allow for a free and fair election.
Elections.
Because what this thing they are trying to do in the name of consensus, if it goes wrong and just one out of the 23 members is agreed, and I assure you, with the way a man they are going, a lot of them are going to be agreed. If they go about it the wrong way, and even a single person goes to court, they will have lost this election even before the first ballot is cast. What they say is enough for the wise. We hope APC and its horde of members are wise.
Well, I can tell you for free that a lot of people are actually looking forward to this disintegration if it ever happens, right? They are hoping that maybe something will happen and the party would just, go into some level of everybody going to different parties and all of that because they feel.
That seems to be the direction the party is taking at the moment.
Yeah.
And who knows? Nigerians have suffered a lot. Maybe it's just karma that's trying to build back with the APC what it has done
Ewo.
Nigerians.
Ewo.
Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I'm on national TV.
No, but well, that's what I mean. You're not alone in that summation. A lot of Nigerians are actually at that point where it is anything but APC. So I'm hoping that whatever it is that they are able to reach, I wish them well in their party politics. I'm just saying that whatever it is, every time I see all of these things happening, I keep on saying, where is the place of the governed, right? Where is the place of the people who you're supposed to be governing? Who is considering those people and picking the best people to represent, and lead those people? That's all I'm asking for in all of this drama.
They don't seem to care. Nigeria is burning, Nigerians are dying, and all that is having attention who is going to be their flag bearer. And it is not who is to have the best interest of the majority of Nigerians at heart, but who is going to preserve their access to power and the power for the APC and its cabals. It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but thank you so much. Thank you, Norma. We had a fantastic conversation. We're going to keep our eyes. I don't think we're going to sleep this night because there's a lot of drama happening. Let's just pray and wake up that tomorrow, all of this, by the time we're on the show tomorrow, everything would be sorted and we'll see the presidential flag bearer for APC and we can all go to sleep and start the work for 2023. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, thank you, Noma. Thank you for joining me tonight. Now, before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram at Wayshow Africa. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our engagements on social media, like, share, invite your families and friends to watch and follow. Don't watch alone. Invite people to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. I mean, consensus is the absence of leadership. This was said by Margaret Thatcher. We'll see you guys live tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bukky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the Babin, I pay my rent. On the Babin, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on Plus TV Africa.
It has been a day of confusion as to whether the All Progressives Congress has a consensus presidential candidate. We analyze the developments in the last 24 hours as the ruling party holds its national convention.
The APC Northern governors have backed a Southern presidential candidacy for the party. What are the chances of this becoming a reality?
And don't forget, we also will be looking through today's national newspapers, analyzing the biggest stories of the day. A very good morning to you. We're back with The Breakfast live on Plus TV Africa, live from our studios on Victoria and Lagos, and broadcasting around the world on the DSTV and StarTimes platforms. My name is Kofi Bartels.
I am Messi Ebokpo. It's good to have you join us this beautiful Tuesday morning.
All right. Flurry of activities as far as the All Progressives Congress is concerned in Abuja, where, of course, we were told that some civil servants could not access their offices because of the blockade by security operatives. For those who had offices close to the APC National Convention venue, I mean, the party is so big, they've had to take 2 days to have the National Convention. And of course, I'm sure today's activities will spill over into the next day, into tomorrow. But we'll look at that on the program as we go on. Very interesting. It's a really big day. If you know what I mean, for the All Progressives Congress.
Very big day.
Yes,
I also saw a lot of persons tweeting and making some comical comment about whether, you know, the Electoral Act talks about having you know, the convention at night because he was going to sleep. I mean, when
looking for trouble? You asked them if they're looking for trouble.
Well, we start off the conversation with a top trending. As always, we tell you or we bring you up to speed with what's making the rounds, generating different reactions in different spaces across. Now, looking at on the list this morning, it's Banky W winning the PDP rerun. Popular musician, if you want to see, or a singer. He's won that rerun election with 24 votes. And let's not forget the controversy that surrounded all of that. We could see him taking to his social media to express gratitude and thank everyone that supported him, you know, all through the pattern, being very, very grateful and also acknowledging his opponent in it. He also talked about, now one of the things that stood out for me is the fact that he talked about the legislative agenda, which will be a collaboration between all of the stakeholders and communities. That's what Banky W said. But tongues are wagging. Some people are saying, what exactly is it going to do, you know, eventually if he gets the win? Because right now, this is the primary levels. He's won at the primary level, he's won in the PDP. Does he stand a chance of winning, you know, the APC right here in Lagos? We're talking about the Itiosa, you know, constituency.
Indeed. Congratulations to Banky W. I mean, it's a well-won victory. He's proved the doubters wrong. You know, Banky has been singing, and this time he's going into music. You know, and of course, we're asking ourselves the question whether we're going to have he will have a Lagos party, you know, at the end of the People's Democratic Party primaries that held on a Sunday. You know, he sang a song. He says there's no party like the Lagos party. So
right?
we're asking whether he was going to have a Lagos party. And then we saw the victory. The videos came out on social media on the Monday of them counting his votes. But then the PDP did him strong thing.
Exactly.
You know, he sang a song saying they do me strong thing. You know, so the PDP did him strong thing, where another result sheet was sent to the national body of the PDP, and his opponent had more votes than him. You know, and so of course, when PDP did him strong thing, we're like asking if Banky was going to take a lying down, if that was the end of his aspirations. But I think the goodwill that he enjoys around the country, not just in Etiosa, but all over Lagos State, must have persuaded the party to do the unthinkable, which was to say, okay, we are ordering a rerun of that primary. And then when the primary run held, he showed them that he is capable. You know, he's called Mr. Capable. And he sang the song, What Are You Capable Of? So Banky has just been dishing, his tunes, through his actions at the Etiosa PDP primaries. But some people are sad. Some would have hoped that he would have faced Babajide Obanikoro, who is the son of Misiliu Obanikoro, former Minister of Defense. Unfortunately, the young Obanikoro lost the APC presidential Etiosa federal constituency primaries to one of the Elegushi's son, Oba Elegushi's son of Ikate, the popular Elegushi family. So whilst it won't be Banky W versus Obanikoro Part 2, they have unfinished business from the last election. Banky still has his work cut out against a popular, the scion or a son of a popular Lagos family. It remains to be seen if the PDP can, for once, win a seat on election in Lagos State. Let's see. Has the PDP ever won? They've never won in Lagos State.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yes.
It feels like 2023 might just be different. Just like you have mentioned in the course of our conversation, you talked about the fact that Banky W is enjoying a lot of goodwill. If you look at it, even within the party, I mean, one would look at his opponent, is quite strong and all of that. And so let's just see. It feels like he has lived in the future with his lyrics. And let's see how all of that
I'm
pans
telling
down.
you, but I mean, one wonders, his opponent got 5 votes, 5 votes. This time the primary took place at the party's secretariat on Alpha Beach Road in the Etiosa local government area. So it was a neutral, everybody agreed on that venue. Previously, they had 2 venues. 29 votes, Banky won 24, the guy won 5. How come that this man, Simon Aiboni, won the first one? It was a bit of a confusion, when it was clear that the PDP had a parallel arrangement in the state, with the party chairman and the exco saying one thing, and then those coming from Abuja saying another thing. This time they were able to agree on having everything at one venue. I think that was the problem. So we hope to see, Nigerians have been saying, they hope to see more entertainers, people who have, Nigeria at heart in the National Assembly or in politics, even in Lagos State House of Assembly. But I think you don't want to see them behave like let's not go there. So congratulations to you, Banky W. Let's see if you can take this home. Hopefully, wish you all the best. I think I wish him all the best, as we're wishing also Elegushi all the best as well. Don't forget, Ikate is not far from here, is it?
No, it's not.
So we're wishing Elegushi all the best as well. All right. Another case of fake news making the rounds yesterday, Mercy. It wasn't too palatable for us in the media because I saw the headline: breaking news, Vice VP's car somersaults on Abuja Airport Road. I mean, the paper that put this out the first time online was so sure. They were so sure that the VP's car had not just had an accident, had somersaulted. Mercy. Only for Laolu Akonde, who is the spokesman of the vice president, to put out a statement refuting that that headline from one of the papers saying, no, it's not true that the vice president's car was involved in the convoy. He says on his way to the airport this morning, that was yesterday morning, the vice president came across a road traffic accident, stopped to lend assistance and ensure the victim was taken to the hospital with the VP's convoy ambulance. He then proceeded on his trip to Ondo State, where he now is, heading to the site of yesterday's attack in Owo. So it was quite clear. They put up pictures later. You could see the vice president assisting his security detail to also assist members of the public to get the victim to safety. So this was okay. Everything ended well, but I think it behoves on the media to also verify the kind of information.
Yeah, very important, because I also remember that at the time that, news broke or story broke, I myself was, in a state of, oh, really, this really happened. I mean, was really worried. No one would expect all of that. And of course, you also want to be looking at the permutations that will be going around following the fact that you have the APC having their convention, all of that. I mean, a lot could just be running through. But it was also good to see that there was a tweet from the vice president Twitter handle where he said, I was not involved in an accident. On my way to the airport, we ran into an accident scene. My security and medical team assisted in removing victims of the crash from the scene, and they have been transported to the Air Force Base Hospital. Very commendable. And this is what we talk about. Even though you have people saying, oh, it's just a time, it's a political period, and so you have all of these gestures. I don't know what it is. I don't know the motive behind this, the intention, what it would be. But I think that it's a good gesture, and it's something that's not just limited to the ruling class. A lot of times we pass through accident scene, and nobody seemed to, pay attention. You want to remember the story of the Good Samaritan. That's not happening. So that was a gesture, Good Samaritan, not minding the fact that he is the vice president, and not necessarily, that's what I'm thinking. It's not necessarily because it's the vice president and also it's a political period. I'm thinking that everyone should be looking out for every other person, and that's actually what happened. So kudos to the vice president, and that was really commendable. I hope that we emulate this particular gesture.
All right. One aspect of this entire story is the fact that even after the vice president had said, "Oh, this is what I did," I helped someone out, and blah blah blah. One would have thought that would have been the end, but then people have said, they're acting another drama. When these politicians will be seen eating corn, or will be seen hawking something on the street, or plaiting hair, or going to the market to shop with their wives during election time, or buying puff-puff from the puff-puff seller, and then they'll take pictures of them. So some people, said, the vice president is acting this out, and this is one of those calculated Nollywood scenes for them to be presented as humanists, But a friend of mine, Adura Tomi Bolade, he's also a media professional as well. He put out something on Instagram, and I love it. He said, I know Nigerians are angry at the government, but would you have preferred the VP to go his way? He asked. Are we saying that stopping to attend to the accident victim is playing to the gallery? What should he have done? So what should he have done? And that people are coming out saying the vice president is just acting his script. He just wants, to present himself as a humanist, as a good person, so that Nigerians can like him. What should he have done? If he went his way, so wicked man.
Maybe they wouldn't have even recognized that he was in that convoy, or he probably passed. But like I said, we shouldn't politicize everything, and that's a very valid question that he's put out. What should he have done? I'm saying that sometimes it's okay for us to look beyond what's going on. Everything is not about politics. Everything is not about APC and PDP. There's more to life than APC and PDP.
I'm telling you.
I mean, that's an accident. Someone stopped by to help.
It's a big life.
It's a big... So we mustn't make everything about, because it feels like you cough now. Oh, it's a political. It's APC. You take a movie. Come on, we have a life before now. So before all of this political, whatever we have, let's understand that we're human beings before we're any other thing.
Yeah.
And that's actually a kind gesture. And I commend the Vice President for that kind act.
All right, we commend the Vice President for that kind act. Keep doing it. Don't mind what people are saying on Twitter, and it's just a few people. If you compare it to the entire country, I think most people will appreciate to see something like that. The nation is grieving. People are not happy, and it's understandable. It's understandable. But like the gentleman I quoted said, well, what should he have done? What should he have done? All right. It's been raining, grief in Ondo State since Sunday's attacks. Latest figures I saw, over 53 people, bodies counted, dead, deposited, with many injured and some in critical condition at a hospital in Ondo State. The national leader of the All Progressives Congress was there, that's Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as was the vice president, who was also there in Owo. We've had another APC presidential aspirant also visiting as well. I'm trying to remember his name. But Tinubu, it's been said, donated quite a huge amount of money. This is, according to some reports, 125 million naira in total. Some money went to the victims. Some money went to the church, the Catholic Church, in that particular part of Ondo State. Now, speaking at the Olowo of Owo's palace, the governor of that state described the Pentecost Sunday's attack as a Black Sunday. So he was also part of Mr. Tinubu's entourage. You can see the governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, there. Now, Mr. Tinubu said, well, this is what the governor said. It's quite interesting, important. He said a group of people, terrorists, came into a very serene area, into a city, and committed this horrific crime. It's heart-wrecking. This is unbearable, challenging to us. Like I said, we are determined to go after these criminals. Now, Mr. Tinubu, on his part, said the attackers meant more damage than Governor Akeredolu described. He assured that he will support the government to find the attackers. And this is what Tinubu said, quote, God in his infinite mercy saved some people. Some people died as a result of this evil act. We pray that they will not die in vain. All right. Tinubu was not alone. He was accompanied by former House of Reps Speaker Yakubu Dogara and former Lagos Deputy Governor Femi Pedro, former head of the EFCC Nuhu Ribadu, and others. Tinubu donated 15 million naira to the families of the victims, mercy of the attack, and 25 million naira to the Catholic Church. This is what we hear. Also, the Nigerian Governors Forum donated 50 million naira to the victims of the attack as well. This was said or announced when the chairman of the NGF, he's also the Ekiti State Governor, Kayode Fayemi, visited the governor of Ondo State at Government House. So he made that announcement on behalf of the Governors Forum. Some good works there. But people have been saying, oh, yes, you can donate money, feel free, we welcome it, but this will not affect whether we'll vote for you in 2023 or not. When it comes to voting for you in 2023, we're going to put this donation and this gesture aside. It's a different ball game. People have no joy. We have no joy. No one is taking it, Mercy.
Yeah, at all. So it feels like, we're talking about the vice president stopping at an accident scene and helping and so on. The other hand, you also have another kind gesture of visiting the scene
and
of
people
accident.
are saying, why are you doing
this?
Because,
one would even expect that the president should have visited. In almost all of the, states and places where you have all of this event happening, we've really not seen the president visiting. When you compare that to other climes where you see, the president will go there, or he will come out and make a speech and all of that.
But the president has hardly visited in his time. He normally
he's hardly visited.
Yemi Osibande.
Oh, well, it's not the same thing, right? Now, especially where you have the vice president now, it's not the same thing. Because a lot of people will be thinking that the vice president is acting in his capacity, especially when he has an interest of becoming the president. And that's the connotation.
But the vice president rarely moves on his own. Maybe he went on a personal note, I don't know, but he's VP.
So that's what I'm saying. So at this point, especially if he weren't vying for the office of the president, it would be different. But now that he's vying for the office of the president, it's almost difficult to say whether or not he was acting on the instructions or the order of the president. But on the other hand,
maybe all the presidential aspirants should have gone there because,
No,
I mean,
but on the other
Tinubu
hand-
went there first, you know, and then...
It's commendable of him, and like I would say that we're humans before any other thing, and that's a kind gesture.
Yes.
But we want to see this action continue, whether or not you're a political office holder, whether or not you're going to become a flag bearer. Let it be an action that should continue. Let's see humanity every other time.
Credit to the vice president. At times when the president has been away on a medical vacation, the VP has always visited sites. You know, he always does that. Well, political campaign or not, it's humanity, like Mercy you've said, and we just have to allow them do what they have to do and still keep our eyes on important stuff. We'll be right back with more right here on Plus TV. The Breakfast returns after this break. We'll dive into the pages of the national dailies with analysis of the headlines.
Is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria?
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bukky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
It's the Breakfast and Plus TV Africa. Time for us to delve into the pages. We'll pay attention to the front pages of our national dailies. And we have our guest on standby. He joins us via Zoom. Chris Kende Nwandu. It's good to have you join us this morning.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
All right, then. We hope that we sort that out before we have him on board. We'll start off with the Nation newspaper. And on the Nation, the caption might just be the same as others. Presidential ticket, Buhari disowns Adamu over Lawan. You remember all of that that's going on. Some people have described it as confusion. We can't wait to share the thoughts of Chris Kende. President Buhari has picked Senator Ahmed Lawan as his choice. That's what Adamu Abdullahi is quoted to say. Away from that, we have reaffirmed our position on power shift to the south to the president. Northern governors are quoted. Another writer says, there shall be no imposition of any candidate. Nobody will appoint anybody, the president is quoted to say. We are with the governors on power shift. Chairman is entitled to his opinion on Lawan. You have the National Working Committee. So a different position, that of the chairman, the Northern Governors Forum, including the Southern Governors. You also have Buhari and the National Working Committee. Nigeria Air gears up to begin operation. And just before we move away from the Nation newspaper this morning, another interesting caption. Terrorists operated for 30 minutes at Owo Church. Survivors recount. It's a very sad one. My 70-year-old mom shot dead. Please recover unexploded bomb. Tinubu tipped to win APC presidential race. This is what the Nation is quoted to say. But that's so much we can take this morning on the Nation newspaper.
Let's go to the Punch newspaper with these headlines. APC presidential ticket. Adamo's consensus plot fails. 21 aspirants in battle royale. The following riders to that headline. 7 NWC members reject Lawan. Tinubu or Shibajo. 5 others woo delegates. 7 NWC members reject Lawan. Tinubu or Shibajo, 5 others woo delegates. Presidency rubbishes Tinubu's claim of helping Buhari win. Namani steps down. That's another Southeast candidate gone, or aspirant rather. I won't impose anyone. Delegates will elect APC candidate, says Buhari. At the top of that front page, COVID-19, others delay aircraft acquisition for national carrier. This is according to CEO. Details on page 17. Our massacre, survivors, victims, relatives, grown as CAN NGF protest. Our massacre, survivors, victims, relatives grown as CAN NGF protests. Crude oil exports jump 194%, hit 5.6 trillion naira in 3 months. So, hurrah. Varsity unions, FG, renegotiation panel sitting ends today. Hopefully we have some good news from there. Forex crisis, FDI crashes by 78% in 3 months. E-payment, Nigerians' utility bill spending soars by 387%. Protesting workers shut down National Assembly. Lawmakers postpone resumption. Pictures of those protests going on in Abuja. Makinde contested PDP governorship primary alone, defeated himself. This is coming from one of the aspirants, Bola Rumi, saying that. Lesson teacher bags life imprisonment for impregnating 14-year-old pupil. That's really sad. I didn't see PDP delegates list until day of primary. Dele Momodu. Well, the more you look, the less you see. He says he didn't see the PDP delegates list until the day of primary. Some of the things we see going on as far as politics of the day is concerned. Only 44% of Nigerians have access to smartphones. This is according to a report cited by The Punch. And these are some of the headlines on the front page of that newspaper.
All right, then let's move away from The Punch and take a look at the Daily Independent newspaper. Presidential primary, APC splits over Lawan as consensus candidate. Northern governors insist on power shift to South to decide voting pattern today at convention. Presidency says Buhari has no preferred candidate. It's Sage warns against fielding a northerner. Right as you find underneath the bold caption, that's on the Daily Independent. You have another saying, "You alone did not make me president." Buhari replies, Tinubu. Interesting. Atiku in dilemma as PDP shops for vice presidential candidate. Should that be a problem? Federal government delays airport concession to tweak operational model. I take that again. Federal government delays operational concession to tweak operational model. Labour vows to counter plan, gives condition. 15 abducted in Anambra as soldiers. Police battle gunmen, one nabbed. and former APC National Secretary Akpano Doedege dumps party. Ondo bloodbath. While trying to escape, I saw dead bodies on ground. This is an account of those who survived the unfortunate incident and attack that happened in St. Francis Catholic Church. But these are the headlines on the Daily Independent newspaper this morning.
Let's turn our attention now to Leadership newspaper. Of course, they say they write stories for God and country. Let's see how that is shown in the headlines. The first one, a big one there, 2,340 APC delegates to decide presidential flag bearer today. The writers to that story, as PMB throws contest open, rules out imposition, says, I have no anointed candidate. Adamu's bid to impose Lawan fails, and WC disowns national chairman. South fails to reach consensus, aspirants go for broke. Northern governors insist on partial. This, I think, is one of the best ways the paper has put it this morning. They are going for broke. All right, still from the leadership, Lagos Owando partner on electric mass transit buses. Let's see how that works. No one can claim PMB's 2015 electoral victory presidency. The picture of Garba Shehu right there beside the word presidency. 4 years after unveiling, Nigeria Air gets operational license, or attack rekindles clamor for overhaul of security architecture is another one from the leadership. Lockdown party, Boris Johnson survives confidence vote. Kola Abiola wins PRP presidential ticket. And bandits abduct over 20 persons in Zamfara. Of course, some of the analysis from that paper with the numbers and the figures as far as the APC presidential primary is concerned. You can get more inside that newspaper.
All right, let's have Chris Kende Wandu share his thoughts this morning on the papers.
Good morning, nice to have me. It's nice being here.
All right, then. So let's start off with it. We take a look at the Nation newspaper, which was the first paper we looked at. Presidential ticket, Buhari disowns Adamu over Lawan. I mean, I'm sure that you've been following the story, and the back and forth has been going on, where you have northern governors coming to say we're insisting on power shift to the south, and on the other hand, the chairman announcing, even there's a lot of denial that, there's a consensus candidate, which the party is not in agreement. What are your thoughts?
Well, what is happening in the APC has moved from the absurd to the bizarre, as far as I'm concerned. Mercy, you are as confused as I am this morning, because even the party itself is so confused that you don't even know what is happening. It has been from a question of everybody coming up with an opinion, really the ranks of the party, nobody is in charge. The president comes out to say, the chairman comes out to say another thing. The governors come will also air their opinions, and there are so many divisions going on. And the most absurd of the whole saga yesterday was when the national chairman of the party came out to say that one of the aspirants has been endorsed as the consensus candidate, and that is the Senate President Ahmed Lawan. And that in itself brought a lot of Lebalu and all sorts of congestion everywhere, deniers, counter deniers here and there, to the extent that the northern governors, who initially have already said that they are for a shift of power to the south, came out to condemn that, and also say that there was nothing of that nature. Members of the NWC, including the organizing secretary of the party, also came out to say that such was not discussed at the NWC, that the chairman only came and told them that Lawan has been picked. So, to add more salt to the injury, the president, through his aides, issued a statement yesterday that he has not endorsed anybody, and that every member or every aspirant has the right to vie for the position. So that is where we are as of this morning. So APC is going into the primaries this morning more divided than it has ever been, right from 2015, when it seized power from PDP. Don't forget that APC is a bed of strange friends, made up of CPC, the NPDP, AFDP, APGA, and ACN. Those are the parties that form APC, as it were. But today, and through the early hours of tomorrow, we'll be able to know who the actual candidate of the APC is going to be. But that is not where it's going to end, because it's almost certain that some nerves and some egos will be bruised, and they will have to do a lot of reconciliation in order to bring everybody together for the task ahead in 2023. PDP is a much better state now because they had theirs and they'll be able to resolve their issue. But let's see how this pans out today.
All right, still more reactions coming from Ondo State as regards that Black Sunday. This time around, the residents, or rather a survivor, recounting their experience as captured in the Nation newspaper, saying that the terrorists operated for 30 minutes at the Owo church, according to the survivor. What are your thoughts on this revelation, that they were there for 30 minutes shooting sporadically, without any intervention whatsoever? And also some people criticizing the presidency for having a dinner hours after this incident, and Buhari yet to visit the town to even visit or to see the survivors.
Multi-dimensional question to pick this morning, but let me take it from the angle of the survivors and the recount of the survivors, that the incident happened for over 30 minutes before any. And the question I ask is that where were the security agencies within Owo? Because in every local government you have divisional police units. And apart from that, in each of the 774 local governments in Nigeria, you have the DSS, you have the civil defense, and other security agencies. Where were they when this was happening for over 30 minutes, close to 30 minutes? Nobody came to their rescue, and these people were able to engage and killed and slaughtered and shot people like cows and animals and went away unchallenged. But that is the situation we find ourselves. This is not the first time it's happening. It has happened severally in the past, and we've always had it. Let me tell you, Kofi Amesi, that nothing will come out of it. It will always go like as if nothing happened. In fact, in the next few days, we see that we've forgotten this, and we move on as a nation as if nothing is happening. That is the way we roll. That is the way we behave. Human life is no longer sacred. People no longer see. We now count the numbers and not just looking at it from the point that these are human beings. These are men, women, children, and relatives that have relatives. But that is the situation. The police have not been able to come out with any statement. They said that the investigation is ongoing. The governor of Ondo State said that the perpetrators will be arrested. The president, as usual, issued his statement to his media aides, which they always do. All they do is just change the date and probably where the event took place. It's the same press release that we have. But to me, from the feedback from some of the survivors and from the eyewitness accounts, it's so obvious that those that perpetrated this evil are called the quote or unquote from certain parts of this country. And my question has always been that immediately we started that issue of allowing everybody from the West Africa region, especially from certain countries like Niger, Mali, and residents into Nigeria, it becomes an issue. Don't forget that the prelate of Methodist Church, Bishop Uche, made a statement when he was arrested and was categorical on his statement on the state of affairs concerning certain individuals and the roles they played in kidnapping him and the payment of 100 million ransom. But it's unfortunate, this is where we are. Nowhere is safe. South is to be the safest place in the whole of Nigeria. But it's also so obvious that the narrative is about change.
Yeah, Chris Kennedy,
question.
Yeah,
okay. Visiting Ondo, the vice president has visited the place yesterday. He is as good as the president. He's the representative of the president, and I don't think that should be an issue for now.
All right. Before Bessie comes in, just a quick follow-up. You rightly looked at the ethnic angle to this that a lot of people are also bringing up. But some have argued that, we're missing the point when we look at which part of the country that these people are from, because we do not even know who they are. If the victims are giving their own accounts and are saying what they say. You've talked about the West African sub-region and the porosity, or the porous nature, rather, of the borders, not just in Nigeria, but even in likes of Benin Republic, Cameroon, and even Ghana. Are we not making a mistake and losing the point if we begin to look at the ethnic makeup of this? Is the entire country not under attack? That's the first question I have follow up. And the second one, are we now seeing terrorism spread to the entire country? Bearing in mind the fact that there was an explosion there, which led some of the media houses to announce or report that an explosion occurred and that led to death, only to get to update their stories. Indeed, some people came out to criticize them, but we confirmed there was an explosion. Secondly, the fact that the police are saying that they recovered an unexploded bomb. What does this say about the state of terrorism in Nigeria today?
Kofi, I'm not profiling anybody. I'm not profiling any ethnic group or whatever. The fact remains that from when most of these people have been arrested, when you profile them, it has always been obvious from their confessional statement and the rest of it. Personally, we should allow the security agencies to do their job. They will come out with a report on what happened, and we take it up from there. But I still repeat that the fact that our various borders have become so porous, and we have given a leeway to everybody especially from certain parts, the West African region, or the countries of that. Don't forget that at a point we waived the issue of a visa or whatever. I know that within the West African region, you don't need a visa to enter any country, but there was some kind of waiver that was given some few which allow as many people as possible from West Africa to come into Nigeria. That to me is a big challenge, apart from the problem we're already having. Then on the issue of whether or not these people can be held responsible or not, I don't know. I'm not a secretary, I'll say that again. But the problem now is that nowhere is safe. I said it, and I repeat what the prelate of the Methodists said, and I totally believe him because I don't see him like if that come from any other person, maybe I wouldn't have believed that. He said that certain individuals said that they are already in certain forests in the southwest, and they are ready to pounce on people and they are ready to attack. And just a week after that comment and that statement, there was this attack. So then the police and all security agencies, but the fact remains is that we are into something that is much, much more dangerous than we always have. This has the roadmap of Boko Haram and rest. That is what they have been doing in the northeast and the northwest and rest of them. To me personally, I feel that they must be part of. This could also be part of that group. Have they infiltrated the southwest? Only time will tell.
Let's get to the punch and look at the fact that you have the National Assembly, protesting workers shutting down and the National Assembly, and you have lawmakers saying that resumption would have to be, be on hold, postponing resumption for lawmakers. What are your thoughts? Now, these people are saying that if you have the lawmakers implementing or making policies whereby policies are formulated, and you talk about those who would help in all of this, you're looking at those who are working, they are not also being considered. What do you make of this back and forth with, the government at different levels where you have no respect for the memorandum of agreement that is always signed?
But this is not the first time we are seeing it. It has happened and it's still happening in other sectors. You remember at ASU, is still on strike. The lecturers and the lecturers have not been able to pin down some kind of consensus and agreement with federal government, and the students have been at home in the past few months. That has only been a distortion in agreements. And ASU went on warning strikes a few weeks back. They resumed and they intend to go on strike if the government doesn't meet their demand. A union of local governments did that some few. So it's not just the first time we are seeing it. So the National Assembly what is happening at the National Assembly is not different from what has happened in the But my own, especially at the National Assembly, is when you look at the huge sum of amounts being collected by our lawmakers every month, which they are not disclosing, millions and millions of naira, and you come to realize that their aides and also workers within the National Assembly are not even getting paid properly, and it leaves much to be desired. That reminds me, I don't know, when I'm 50, over 50 now, I don't know whether you were too young in those days when we grew up in Lagos. There used to be a place called Morocco and Victoria Island. If you get to Victoria Island stopped at 1004. All you are seeing now at Lekki and the rest of them used to be Morocco. And when you are within that point, and you stay at 1004 and look further, you see how beautiful 1004 and this other area of Victoria Island looks. When you look further and you see the darkness within Morocco and that they don't have roads, they don't have good roads, they don't have water and the rest of them, you continue to ask yourself, is this still the same Lagos and where I started? So the same thing is happening within the National Assembly, where you see some lawmakers taking home huge amounts of money. Where are the aides? And don't forget, most of these lawmakers don't do anything. They practically don't do anything. Everything that you see them present at the National Assembly as bill or law passing through laws are being put together by these aides. None of those lawmakers, they only go there and read those things. And the people that are helping you to do your job are not getting well paid. So I totally agree with the National Assembly workers. I hope that their cries will be listened to and they'll get their dues. Because take it or leave it, within the next 1 year, this same set of lawmakers, over 70 to 60% of them will not return. And if this aides don't get their dues, then that is the end of it.
All right, Chris Kende-Wando, a couple of papers have given some space to the presidency versus Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, his speech that has received a lot of shares on social media, where he said, he's the one that made President Buhari president. Of course, it's his turn to be the next president. It's the turn of the Yorubas. The presidency has replied to him saying that he did not make President Buhari president. In fact, I'll go to the Daily Independence version of this story. The headline is at the front page, top left corner of the front page of the Daily Independent, says, "You alone didn't make me president," Buhari replies Tinubu. This is barely hours before the All Progressives Congress National Convention, I think presidential primary should be said, kicks off in Abuja. The presidency responded to the outburst credited to former Lagos State Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu, insisting that he alone didn't facilitate the victory of the president in 2015. Now, this is in a statement that's put out by Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the President, Garba Shehu. Your thoughts on this? Is this going to really harm the party ahead of its decision on who should be its flag bearer?
Kofi, do you mean Emiloko?
Emiloko. Yes, so Yoruba Loko.
Yeah, exactly. Emiloko. Oshubulule 1, Oshubulule 2, Oshubulule 3, Oshubulule 4. Nigeria is just a funny state. But on the most serious note, yes, everybody watched that video. And the low point for me wasn't even the statement accredited to the leader of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, concerning the president and how he made him. But the degrading nature he referred to the governor of Ogun State as Eleyi. If you understand Yoruba very well, Eleyi means this one. And that to me was the height of it. Irrespective of, I think that it was a low for me coming from someone of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's status. But back to your question, yes, there's no saying the fact that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was part of those that were instrumental to the success of the president in 2015. Don't forget that he was able to rally his party, the ACM, to join with other forces to be able to make sure that President Buhari won the 2015 election. To me, he always get that glory. But to now say he single-handedly made Buhari the president, to me is a point of high fallacy. Because, don't forget that point, 5 PDP governors moved from PDP to APC. They were known as the NPDP. And they brought a lot before. And there are also other individuals that also helped. So, yes, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's contribution, without any question, he helped a lot. But to say that I made him president, for goodness sake, it's only God that makes president. It's only God that makes a governor. It's only God, irrespective of the fact that, yes, people will still vote. But if God has not said it that this is what will become, forget it. Kofi, Mercy, when you were born, God already knew that you are going to be broadcasters. What only happened is that your parents were able to have you and were able to train you in school, and you moved towards that. And the end of it all, through your own personal effort, you now ended up where you are. Where you will be tomorrow, you don't know. It's only God that knows. So I don't like when people equate so much power to themselves and so arrogance to themselves that accept me, accept me. If there is no God, nothing will happen. But I saw the statement issued by Governor Smith yesterday. To me, I mean, totally in tandem with him. The president did not come out outrightly to attack the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They only tried to set the issue right. Then to your question, whether it's going to affect the outcome of the primary today, I'll tell you no. And the delegates have already made up their mind who they want to vote for. The president said that they had an anointed son or a candidate. He told us a few months back, but it's so obvious that today he might be leaving to his name that for nobody and for everybody. So to your tent, Israel, everybody will go there and square it out. All arrangement to get a consensus candidate by the APC failed woefully, and it seems that 24 aspirants, except Kenen Namani that stepped down tomorrow, we are going to contest, and we see this to the wire. And by the end of tomorrow, we are going to see the right candidate of the APC that will face the candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, the candidate of the Labour Party.
Chris Kende, yes, before you go, who's your money on?
Sorry?
Who is your money on?
He said I should do what? I didn't hear you.
He's saying who is your money on?
I mean,
who are you betting on
to
become the flag bearer of the APC?
Okay, who am I betting on? Who am I betting on? You're asking who I'm betting on?
Yes.
Who do you think will emerge?
Kofi, I don't participate in betting.
Messi, you spoiled the matter for me. All right.
Yes,
of course.
Chris Kende, I want to ask you. You've successfully wriggled your way out of that question. It's all right.
There was no way he was
let the best for me. Well, I think we should call you Pastor Chris this morning. You know, for preaching to us and telling us that God knew who we would be before even we were born. Pastor Chris Kende Nwandu, thank you very much for your time. Chartered mediator and conciliator, we appreciate your analysis on Off the Press today.
Thank you very much. Do have a wonderful day ahead.
Well, that's the size of our conversation this morning on Off the Press. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll be looking at the first major conversation. But just before that time, let's tell you what happened today, being the 7th of June in history. Stay with us.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely, right? No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. Relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers. You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. On the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back at the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajitumobi. Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thoughts and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Welcome back. So watching The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa, we have a first major conversation this morning. The crisis rocking the All Progressives Congress took another dimension on Monday when members of the National Working Committee rejected the Senate President Ahmed Lawan as its consensus candidate. The rebuttal is ours after the national chairman of the party, Abdullahi Adamu, announced Lawan as the party's consensus candidate. Adamu had dropped the bombshell during the meeting of the National Working Committee on Monday at the party's national secretariat in Abuja. According to him, the choice of Lawan was decided after due consultation with President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, his pronouncement did not, however, go down well, it was reported, with the NWC members of the APC, as some of them kicked against the decision, demanding the party give every aspirant a level playing field. And addressing newsmen at the front of the party secretariat in Abuja, the National Organizing Secretary of the APC, Suleiman Arugungu, disclosed that the choice of Lawan was not a decision taken by the party, as was being reported. Now, we're glad to say we have joining us one of the officials of the All Progressives Congress and chairman of the party in Cross River State, Barrister Oga Eba. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning. Good morning, parents.
All right. Were you part of that NWC meeting that held yesterday?
Hello.
Yes, yeah. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you now.
All right. Were you part of that National Working Committee that held yesterday?
No, by virtue of my position as state chairman, a member of NEC, I am not a member of the NWC, so I was not a part of the meeting.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, what decision was taken by the National Executive Committee of the APC as regards consensus candidature for the party's presidency?
No, like if you have been following rightly, the last meeting of the NEC, which I attended and also spoke on behalf of the chairman, we donated our powers to the NWC to take critical decisions of this nature. However, as you got to hear yesterday shortly after what I described as a puzzle by the national chairman, the other members of the NWC came out very clearly to say that that was not a decision of the NWC. And do not forget, the powers we donated to the NWC in the last NEC meeting was not to be exercised by the national chairman acting unilaterally, but was to be exercised by the entire National Working Committee. So I will only urge Nigerians, particularly members of the APC, to lay to rest the press briefing that was given by the organizing secretary, even though it would have been properly given by the National Public Secretary, but the organizing secretary was right in saying that that was not a decision of the NWC. And that is what we want all Nigerians to take.
Now, some people are saying that the APC has never been, big on the issue of consensus. I mean, so it would never have been a thing. But what exactly is the position of the APC? We just have, a few more hours before a flag bearer emerges. What exactly is the position of the APC in terms of picking a flag bearer for the 2023 elections? Presidential flag bearer, to be precise.
No, consensus building and arriving at consensus has almost become like blood that runs through the veins of APC. There is no chairman of our party, from Odege Oyegun down to Shomole, down to the present national chairman. Even myself sitting here, we all emerged through consensus build and we arrived at consensus. So to say that it has not been part of us is not.
No, I'm not saying it hasn't been part of you. I'm saying that looking at this time, right now, the APC has been very silent about consensus. And so it's quite shocking, as much as you're expressing that you have the chairman saying that the Senate president has emerged as a consensus candidate. So the APC has been very silent about consensus ahead of the 2023 elections. What exactly is the position of your party as regards picking a presidential candidate for 2023?
No, we have not been silent about consensus. If you've been following of Mr. President and the leadership of the party and the governors, all that he's been advising is consensus building. However, like I said again, the issue of announcing Ahmed Lawan yesterday was not through anything called consensus. That is why I started by saying that perhaps it was a puzzle.
All right, Barrister Oga, hearing you say that, of course, it was reported in the press after the National Executive Committee meeting of the APC, you said you spoke on behalf of the chairman, the state chairman of the party, donating your powers to the National Working Committee. Was the party chairman, Adamu himself, in agreement with this? Because we're seeing him sing a different song. At that time, was it an agreement, a decision of all of the NEC of the party?
I didn't get you clearly. The line was breaking while
all right. Okay, but can you hear me now?
Asking you, can you say it again, please?
But can you hear me now, sir? Yeah.
No.
Yes. Okay, Barrister, I'm saying that you've reminded us that the NEC of the APC held a meeting, and after that meeting, donated its powers to decide a consensus presidential candidate for the party to the National Working Committee. Was the party chairman in support of that agreement? Because it seems like he's singing a different song. Are we having divergent interests as far as the members of the NEC are concerned, the party chairman is concerned?
If I hear you clearly, if I heard you clearly, asking during the NEC meeting, the powers we donated to the NWC.
Yes. Was
the
it
powers we donated to the NWC?
Yes.
If we taking the decision I took it on the issue of consensus?
Yes, where the party chairman was in support, was part of that decision.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm asking if your national chairman, can you hear me, sir?
Hello, the line is seriously breaking.
All right, we'll have to get back to our guests. I hope that
I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me now. Fantastic. Was your national chairman part of that decision to donate your powers to the NWC?
Hello.
All right. Barrister, we'll try to reconnect with you. I hope that we can successfully do that because some important information you're sharing with us. But can you hear me now, sir?
The line is serious. I don't know why.
All right. We'll get back to our guest. Mercy is quite unfortunate having this, but very important because he is, when he's a dramatist person, he's in the middle of this story. So we'll try and get back to him. But indeed, it was a surprise when the news broke that the chairman had. In fact, the story was, APC makes Ahmed Lawan consensus candidate. But as the minutes went on, not even hours, minutes went on, it became clear that the party had not taken a decision, but the party had a meeting of its National Working Committee where the chairman, it was said he gave his opinion and suggested that, or dropped some sort of information, But the jury is out as to whether this information shared by the party chairman is what is the will of President Muhammadu Buhari. And I hope we can get our guest back on the line, Oga Eba, who is the chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Cross River State. So the debate as to whether this statement and this opinion by Abdullahi Adamu is the position of the president. Why are people saying that? It's because the president last year, he sat down with journalists and he was interviewed, and he was asked about this whole consensus candidature, and he said that he will be keeping his choice close to his chest, that if he reveals who his choice is, people might begin to get at that person, so he wasn't going to tell. And when he hosted the governors of the APC and the national chairman to a meeting last week, he also said that he had allowed, or he insinuated that he had allowed them choose their successors. And for those who had gotten the first term, the party had supported them to get a second term. So they should also allow him and cooperate with him to choose a consensus candidate to succeed him. So there was suspicion that meant, or that was interpreted in some quarters, that meant that the president had a choice whom he would make known as time went on. But following the reaction to this statement or purported consensus candidature of Lawan by Adamu, the presidency has now come out to say we have no anointed candidate. We have no anointed candidate.
It's a lot that's going on, because if you look at the papers this morning, you have different dimensions, or you want to call them faction. Different statements from different stakeholders in the same party. So on the other hand, you have Adamu saying that, Ahmed Lawan has been chosen as the flag bearer. It's the anointed one of the president. I'm just saying.
When you say chosen, that's what the man.
He said that President Buhari has picked Senator Ahmed Lawan as his choice. That's what he's saying, right? And on the other hand, you have the northern governors coming to say, hey, we are still bent on saying power should go to the south, to the southern part of the country. And on the other hand, you have the president also saying, I do not have any anointed candidates. And also on the other hand, you have the National Working Committee saying, we're with the power, with the governors on power shift and the chairmanship is entitled to his opinion on Lawan. So could it be that, you know, the chairman would be acting, you know, on his own, the chairman? I mean, you're talking about Abdullahi right now, just waking up and saying things out of his own perception, out of his own interest.
That is what we don't know. What he is reported as saying is that President, he told the NWC members that the president had chosen. But I wonder why the president, if he had chosen Ahmed Lawan, would not have said that, because he had dinner with the stakeholders of the APC on Sunday. You know, Tinubu was there, Oshibajo was there, Ahmed Lawan was there. He didn't say anything that we know. We don't know that he said that. He met with the governors and the party chairman last week. He didn't mention any name. If Lawan says this thing, or rather Adamu says this to the NWC members, how are they to know if that's the president's position? And you can't have consensus candidature just like that. It's not something you just say. You actually will call all the candidates together, sit them down,
and they have to agree.
Even if you're going to give them an order, maybe you are an incumbent state governor, or you are a party leader in a state, all right, or at the federal level, even if you're going to give them an order, you actually will call them and say, this is it. You understand? This is it. And then, of course, we have the extant laws, the Electoral Act 2022, that prescribes the procedure for, you know, consensus candidature in the party. Everybody has to agree, all the candidates. Not just agree, they have to agree in writing. They have to sign on paper, which I think is fantastic for democracy in Nigeria.
I'm being told that we have a guest, but let's see if we can connect with him.
Barrister Oga Eba, are you there, please? Good morning to you once again, Barrister Eba.
Yes, please.
All right. Please kindly turn off the volume of the audio where you are, so that we don't have that feedback because of you know, the way it works. All right. Thank you. So I was asking before we went on the break if the national chairman of your party was part of this decision to donate the powers to pick a consensus candidate to the National Working Committee of the party.
Like I said before, the power that...
I think we have been disconnected with Barrister Oga. It brings us back to the conversation. So, but whatever it is, a lot of people have described what's going on with the APC. Like I rightly mentioned, if you follow the APC.
Right.
Oh yes, Barrister, we can hear you. Sorry, Messi. Can you hear us, sir?
Hear me?
Yes, can you hear us, sir?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, but can you hear us?
Hello?
Yes, Barrister, we can hear you. Can you hear us? All right, obviously, still an audio issue that hopefully we'll get to overcome. But he's like I said, dramatist, but he's one of those in the middle of this story. And it's important to get to hear from him, important to take his opinion and all that. Let's hope we can do that before we run out of time. It's a big story, Messi.
No, it's a very big one.
Big one, yeah.
But in all of this, if you look at all this going on, you would want to say that there's something that one cannot really understand. I don't think that the APC has been very great on. All right, so we do have Barrister Oga back. It's good to have you join us once again. Can you hear us? Okay.
Hello.
Barrister, yes. Can you hear us, please?
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you now.
All right. So we're asking for this NEC meeting that held, where your powers were donated to the NWC. Was the National Party chairman a part of this agreement, decision?
Hello?
Okay, so we probably might not have this conversation today, but hopefully we're able to have that. That's because, you know, the convention would definitely run from the 6th through the 8th, or maybe through the 9th. Today's the 7th, so through the 8th. So between now and tomorrow, we're hoping that we can still have him back, you know, to have this conversation. We're almost out of time, but we will try and see if we can reconnect with him. Poor network connection right there. We apologize for this inconvenience this might cause you at this point in time. It brings me back to the position of saying that the APC has not been very clear on the issue of consensus. Like you have rightly mentioned, you have the extant law being very precise about if you're going to have a consensus candidate, how a consensus candidate will emerge. It won't just be by, a pronouncement. I was going to say pronunciation. It won't be just a pronouncement of the chairman or any other person, an individual. It has to follow, what the law has actually prescribed. So you have this aspirant who will come together and agree that, we're picking an individual or a certain person to become, a flag bearer. So that hasn't really happened. And that's why you're saying, you have the president saying, oh, I don't have an anointed candidate, or I don't have a choice, and you have the National Working Committee on the other hand saying, well, the northern governors or governors have actually agreed that we're going to shift power to the south. And so it would be that candidates from the southern part of the country would stand a chance. It's going to be an election and they will be, elected. So it's what
let's see what happens. Like one paper put it, I think was the Leadership newspaper, saying that they are going for broke, so it is each man for himself, God for us all. Yeah, as far as the APC is concerned. And I think it's fantastic. This whole idea of consensus really, it is a way of it disenfranchises and robs people who just want to exercise their right and the opportunity they have to stand for an election. Even if they lose, at the end of the day, let them know they lost fair and square. Look at what happened with the PDP. That Article 1 fair and square. Likes of Wike, Buhari, Saraki, Dele Momodu, who said he never saw the delegates list, and Fayeshe and Co, who never got any, they got 0 votes. Even Naim, who came from the southeast with 100 delegates, so only saw 14. All these people would have, they would have exhausted themselves. It's like somebody who wants to complain to you, who has issues. If you don't allow them to talk, you don't listen to them, all right, they will not feel like they've been heard. You have to let them exhaust themselves. When they're done, then you have a better chance of having a resolution. So it's very important.
We have Opunabo Nkatari on standby. I'm sure that, Kofi, you probably might want to channel that question to him. Opunabo, do we have you on the phone?
Yes, you have me, not on the phone, actually.
Okay.
It's video audio.
Okay, it's good to have you join us this morning on The Breakfast.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hello? Well, we'll take a break now. When we return, we continue with The Breakfast. Please stay with us.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment of winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
Seize it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
in raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on Plus TV Africa.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
It's still The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. We stay with the conversation. I mean, looking at the APC and the fact that you have northern governors, what the APC is saying, we're going to shift powers to the southern parts of the country. That'll be the crux of our conversation this morning. We have a guest joining us, Opunabo Nkatara. He's a public affairs analyst and a political affairs commentator, if you like to say. Opunabo, it's good to have you join us this morning.
And good morning, Andrea.
All right, then. Northern governors elected on the platform of the All Progressive Congress, APC, have insisted that they would have or back a Southern to emerge as a presidential candidate of the ruling party in the 2023 general elections. The chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, stated this while briefing State House correspondent in Abuja. The governors, 13 of them, made their position known following their meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa at the Federal Capital Territory. Now, in the briefing, Governor Lalong clarified that the leaked memo that went viral on Saturday was true position of northern governors, and they came to officially to consult with the president. According to the governor, President Muhammadu Buhari has not anointed any of the 23 aspirants expected to participate in the party's primary as the flag bearer of the APC. Rather, he explained that the president asked the governors to have a meeting with the National Working Committee, that's the NWC, of the party to resolve the issue of consensus candidate through a democratic means. You also have, prior to this time, where you have our guest saying there's been a transfer of power by the National Executive Council to the National Working Committee to actually elect. Now, Governor Lalong stated that the decision of governors to return power to the South was to ensure equity, peace, unity in the country. Opunabo Nkatara is with us this morning, a public affairs analyst. It's good to have you join us. Opunabo, do you see this becoming a reality with all that's going on with the APC right now?
What's becoming a reality?
That, power would be the northern governors supporting a shift of power to the southern part of the country. not necessarily stating whether power should go to the south-south or to the southeast or to the southwest?
Well, you have a cacophony of voices occasioned by contending and competing interests. The northern governors have reiterated on several occasions that power must shift to the south. And that is in consideration of the tenuous ligatures of the encasement called Nigeria that have never been so threatening. And so in the interest of equity, fairness, and justice, like Lalong said, power ought to shift to the south so that there will be this sense of belonging, this sense of oneness. But you have a conflicted person, such as Adamu, who addressed the NWC of the APC and said to them that, what's his name, Lawan, the Senate President, is the chosen one, the anointed one by Mr. President. Although Mr. President has come out to controverse that he has no preferred candidate, or he has no choice, he has not anointed. I cannot say he has no preferred candidate because on the sister station, he said he has a preferred candidate, but he was not going to disclose the identity of that candidate for the safety of that candidate. And as a human being, of course, we all have preferred candidates. My candidate, I've always said, is going to be Chibuike. But definitely the candidate for the APC chairman, Adamu, is the Senate President, Lawan. And so he was more or less trying to fight. We are yet to ascertain the veracity or apocryphalness of that claim, and that with Mr. President coming out to contradict it. But the NWC, in the swift response, has also said there was no decision like that by the NWC, and that was the opinion of just one man, and that they stand, they are in sync with the position of the government that power should shift to the south. Now, the danger of the North retaining power is quite obvious, you know, because like I said, you have the IPOB agitations that have assumed apocalyptic dimensions, occasioned by the issue of segregation, marginalization, discrimination, and what have you. The PDP has a northern candidate, a northern standard flag bearer, standard bearer. The PDP could be excused in the sense that they could argue that Jonathan, who was the last PDP president, is from the south, not just south. But what will be the excuse for the APC? There won't be any allowance because the sitting president, who is a member of the APC, is from the north. And so it is only logical at this point in time, and in the interest of oneness, unity, that power should shift to the south. That is the only logical thing to do. And that is what the northern governors, 13 of the northern governors, are insisting on, say, Yahya Bello. 13 of them have said, let it go to the south. And I think it should actually go to the south if we want this country to remain as one, because this has gone to further threaten. It is quite insidious. It has gone to further threaten the very existence of our nation. Don't forget that, yes, you might have a standard bearer from the north, from the APC. You might think you have won, but what of the domino effect? It might commence immediately, 1 year after, or 2 years after. And to stave off this ominous threat, the northern governors are insisting on the southern president. And I think that is the best thing to do. Because if you talk of now, the fear is that you need a northerner to, if you have to win Atiku at the polls, you need a northerner to emerge as the standard bearer of the party. That argument suffers from eclipse of vision and poverty of blood. First, you need a spread. So if the South will say, we are not going to support a northerner, even if you have majority of the votes, you don't have the spread, you cannot be declared a winner. So while, yes, you talk of majoritarianism, you talk of the North, but the North cannot be unilaterally. You need the support of the South to emerge. So no one region, no one zone is insignificant. All regions and all zones are equally significant. So if you give it to a North, like now, the Northern governors, 13 of them are in support of the Southern country. What does that tell you? That those 13 Northern governors are going to ensure that they work for the success, towards the success of a Southern candidate at the general election. That is the meaning of that. So if you talk of the Northern majority, it does not even arise. Because those governors will give their votes to the South. And that will reduce the vote of the Northerners, even the vote of Atiku. So the issue of Atiku is not the candidate, he has the clout, he has the number, he has this. So if we don't give it to the North, then Atiku will pick the APC candidate at the general election. That argument does not even arise. Because already 13 Northern governors have said we want the South. And the 13 Northern governors will work assiduously to ensure that the Southern candidate emerges as the president come 2023. My advice to those Northern governors is simple. Tell your delegates, when they go to the polls, to vote for the Southern candidate. It's as simple as that.
All right, we'll quickly take a track now. Okunabon Kotara, please stay with us.
They should vote for the Southern candidate. As simple as that.
Okunabon Kotara, we'll be with you shortly. Let's quickly look at this track. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Our meeting today is to reaffirm our position that in the interest of unity, in the interest of peace, and also justice, we recommended that the next president should come from the South.
The governor of Kogi State chose to excuse himself from meeting with Mr. President because he believes that he does not agree with our position. There are 14 APC governors out of the 19 northern states. 13 of us are on one page on this subject, and we all came to see the president. But the governor of Kogi State excused himself. And it is within his democratic rights to excuse himself.
We look at the totality of the issues in our country. We believe APC with 22 governors, APC with a president that has delivered on democratic dividend across the breadth of this country, has everything going for it. What is the political brinksmanship that we need to bring so that every component of Nigeria will feel important? Like I said, there are northern candidates of northern extraction, and we are not ignoring their capacity or their interest. But we felt that if political expediency can encourage a step that will bring more peace and resonate with everyone across Nigeria, we are bold enough to say it.
Mr. Kotara, you've listened to that. If you heard what those members of the party said, what are your thoughts on that?
What are my thoughts? I mean, I just said, what they said only corroborated what I've been saying.
All right.
In the interest of peace, unity, fairness, and justice. That's what I've been saying. And they only corroborated what I've just said. I mean, there's nothing different.
All right.
Especially when it goes, our political engine is overheated. And the nation is headed slowly but steady. Just on Sunday, we had what happened in Owo. The nation is headed slowly but steady. Trust people rendezvous with Anna. And that is what the northern governors who are low-centric, are trying to stable. That is what they are trying to prevent. Because we are almost at war with ourselves. And this will further fester when a section of a society believes that they are not wanted, when they believe that you have this northern hegemony. Of course, like I always say, every spirit revolts at tyranny. When a man is pushed to the wall, he bounces back with the double deck. And you know what that means? When a man bounces back to his judgment, he throws a ball and it ricochets. You know what that means? Of course, it is not going to be a child's play. And that is what the southern governors, who are clairvoyant, are trying to avoid. And that is why we say, let it go to the south. There will be that oneness. There will be that unity. The PDP has made its mistake. Like I said, it has an excuse. Jonathan was a southern president. Okay, fine. But let it be a fair contest between the north and the south. And let Nigerians decide. There has to be a choice. Are we going to go for a southerner? Are we going to go for a northerner? You know, we should have that choice. Nigerians should have that choice. Not. So you are between the devil and the deep blue.
There is Opunabo Ekotare, there is a school of thought. Opunabo, there's a school of thought that the PDP haven't taken a northern candidate, someone from the northeast, in the person of Atiku Abubakar, who is they were Turaki Adamawa, is it the Waziri Adamawa these days? That someone from that part of the country, like Ahmed Lawan, is the right person to match him. Otherwise, any candidate from the south would be toast as far as Atiku is concerned.
Kofi, I had already done this analysis. I told you this, even before now. Unless you, for purposes of emphasis or redundant, otherwise I've done the analysis. I said, one, we are talking of unity, we are talking of oneness. We are talking of fairness, equity, and justice. Now, even if you talk of majoritarianism, I talked of spread. If you have 21 billion votes from the north, if you don't have the spread, you cannot be declared a winner. That is one. And so if the south should deny you that spread, you can't elect. That is one. There has to be a re-election. Number two, no single northerner. I believe that the most popular northerner today, that is the sitting governor is Zulu. No single northerner today can arrogate himself the cloud Buhari had in the north, which was an advantage to him in 2014, 2015, and 2019. That is number two. Number three, you have 13 northern governors in support of a southern candidate. We are talking of governors. We are not talking of ministers. We are not talking of commissioners. We are not talking of advisors. We are not talking of legislators. We are talking of governors. And we are all seeds of the powers of the governors. 13 northern governors are clamoring for a southern candidate in the interest of the country. Those 13 northern governors, not southern governors, those 13 northern governors will work assiduously for the emergence of victory of a southern candidate at the polls. So what are we talking about?
All right. So should the northern governors of the All Progressives Congress,
argument is the sort of ethics of building and poverty of logic.
Opunabo Ekotare,
the South will support the South.
Mr. Ekotare, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm just trying to ask you another question. Should the southern northern governors have gone a step further to say southeast, for instance, not just south?
That is microzoning.
If we're talking about, if we're talking about, if we're talking about equity, we are talking about justice.
My preferred, and let me just answer your question. My preferred candidate is Rotimi Chibukamichi, no doubt. But then, if you also talk of equity, fairness, and justice, you talk of the southeast. Now, for purposes of expediency, the federal government might not be too comfortable because of IPOB and ESN. Although, another school of thought, another argument could be, if it's handed over to the southeast, it's going to placate them and ensure the cessation of hostilities by IPOB, ESN, that these are organizations that have also been infiltrated by criminals. Because in most occasions, IPOB has dissociated itself from the crimes being committed. But that is one argument. Some will say to pacify them. Let us give it to the Southeast. But again, most Nigerians will also be scared. When you give it to the Southeast, what happens to IPOP and so on? But the issue is, zone to the South. When you zone to the South will now decide on which section. When 3 form of the 4 on 2, the topmost is first of all removed. Zone into the South. Let it be a Southern affair. And let it be the South-South, the Southwest, and the Southeast struggling for who to be the candidate.
Mr. Nkotaria, you've said that let the South decide. But if you're talking about equity and fairness, some would argue you've already addressed this, that the Southeast should have its turn. Another school of thought has it that that those who have contributed the most to the All Progressives Congress in terms of votes at the presidential election should be the ones to take the lead. In this case, we're talking about the southwestern part of Nigeria. And the proponents of this school of thought say that if you want to talk about the Southeast, what have they contributed to the APC in terms of vote? That if you want to talk about the South-South, what have they contributed to the APC in terms of vote? That these are regions that have traditionally rejected the APC at the presidential elections, while the Southwest has traditionally given the APC massive votes. Yes. Yes.
Now you talk of the Southwest. You have already a sitting vice president there from the Southwest. If you talk of the South-South, I'm talking about contribution now. Of course, we all know, even though the president has come out to say what is the contribution of, he acknowledges the efforts of Tinubu, but said with the caveat that not one man can do it. Of course, not one man can do it. Even a revolution is probably not led by more than 1 or 2 persons. But somebody symbolizes that revolution. That is the truth about it. When you talk of June 12, Abiola, it wasn't just Abiola. We had Akiri Nadia and so on. Abiola just symbolized it. Abiola could not have done it below. In fact, June 12 got the prominence it got after the death of NK Abiola. Now let's come to the South-South. Rotimi Chibuameko was the DG of the campaign twice. I am on air. I don't need to say what the efforts he put in, financially and otherwise. A DG of the campaign, how can you say what did the South contribute? If you go to the Southeast, of course, all regions contributed. Buhari said the vote from the Southeast was not for, but at least he got the spread. Without that spread, he would have been president. Now, having said all this, that is the point we are making. When you start, when you said your vote, whatever you get from the government will depend on the vote you give. And that comment was excoriated. Because once you met as a president, you're the president of the federal government, whether they voted for you or not, completely material. And that is why a lot of people believe that Buhari is biased against the Southeast. That is the belief, because of that comment he made, which was reckless, completely, absolutely reckless. A president should not say that. Now, having said this, unless you are saying that because they did not contribute to the formation or emergence of the...
Opunabo Nkotaria, we have to let you go now because we're out of time.
Now, we don't have time.
All right,
because AGA is part of AGA was also melded. AGA, ACN, a new PDP and co made up the APC. So AGA is Igbo, AGA is Southeast. So you cannot say that they did not contribute at all. Probably you're saying they did not contribute as much as this other one. But does that in any way mean that they are not citizens of this country? Does that in any way mean that they should be denied their rights and privileges in a country? The answer is sounding no.
Okay, so Opunabo Nkotaria, let's leave it at this now.
We should go beyond sentiment.
All right.
I'm sure that we can continue this conversation some other time. Thank you so much. I mean, you said that the answer is outrightly no, whatever the situation is, and we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for being part of The Breakfast. Opunabo Nkotaria is a public affairs analyst, and we have been looking at the possibility of zoning the APC presidential ticket to the southern part of the country.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is the size of a package on The Breakfast. We apologize for the technical issues we earlier had, but we promise to make it better tomorrow. Keep watching Plus TV Africa. Up next, the news at 9. And if you'd like to follow us online, Mercy?
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram with Plus TV Africa. And do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. I am Messi Popo. Have a fantastic day.
And I'm Kofi Bertels. See you tomorrow.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamode Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamode Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Good morning, I am Justin Akadonye, and this is the news brief on Plus TV Africa. The Eagle Square is wearing a new look as the ruling All Progressives Congress prepares for its special convention in Abuja scheduled to hold today. The fate of the 23 presidential aspirants, which include front-runners like Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Rotimi Amechi, Godswill Akpabio, Ken Nnamani, Ogbonnaya Onu, Jack Rich, Senator Ibikola Amosun, Rochas Okorocha, amongst others, would be determined as the winner eventually picks the APC presidential ticket at the 2023 general election. The issues of a consensus candidacy have been on the card, with rumors of meetings taking place across various regional divides. But as it seems, no one is ready to step down for the other, leaving all the candidates to slug it out today. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has met behind closed doors with northern governors elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress APC at the State House, Abuja. Now, speaking to a State House correspondent on the outcome of the meeting, the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, said that the president insisted that he had not endorsed any of the 23 candidates aspiring to clinch the presidential ticket of the party. Lalong stated that the president had therefore directed that governors of APC-controlled state should meet with the National Working Committee of the party to fine-tune modalities for the selection of the presidential flag bearer of the APC. Meantime, the All Progressives Congress has debunked news making the rounds as announced by the national chairman, Abdullahi Adamu, that Ahmed Lawan has been anointed consensus candidate of the party. Shortly after the National Working Committee meeting, the organizing secretary, Sulaiman Agungu, made the clarification while addressing journalists at the party's national secretariat. He debunked the earlier claim by the national chairman in his briefing to journalists that Ahmed Lawan is the anointed candidate of the party, dismissing it as mere information that was not deliberated on by members of the NWC. Now, 13 of the 14 northern governors have reaffirmed their resolve to zone the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress to the southern part of the country. In the spirit of justice, peace, and inclusiveness, the northern governors gave this position after a meeting with the president in his office as part of their ongoing consultations towards the involvement of the presidential flag bearer for the APC. Addressing State House correspondent on behalf of the group, Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong said this reaffirmation has become necessary as the party goes into its primaries. When asked about the position of the Kogi State Governor and presidential aspirant Yahaya Bello over these latest stands, the group said Kogi Governor was duly invited but decided to stay away from the visit to the president. Meanwhile, the accreditation of the party's delegates for the APC primary has commenced ahead of the main event today. Now, concerned All Progressives Congress APC youths representing North Central has expressed disappointment in the decision taken by 11 northern governors to zone the party's presidential ticket to the southern region of the country. The group, at the protest around the APC National Secretariat in Abuja, expressed shock that these governors who cannot come together to make policies that would tackle issues affecting the North and Nigeria at large, which is mainly insecurity, have now signed up for southern candidate for the APC based on their selfish interests.
Concerned APC representing North Central youths, we are all gathered here to express our disappointment in the decision taken by 11 northern governors just for their ecogenic and morbid desire for the bargain of vice president slot. It is such a shame that the governors who cannot come together to make policies that will tackle issues affecting the northern and Nigerians at large, which is mainly the issue of insecurity, have now mischievously signed up for southern candidates for the APC based on their own selfish interests.
Lastly, we want to call on the attention of the All Progressives Congress and the delegates of our great party that if we wish to remain in power come 2023, there are three major factors we must consider for any candidate that will represent the party, not just the interest of the microscopic few. 1, the candidate must have proven records in addressing the number one issue of insecurity in his own capacity at his own state. This is an issue that is affecting the nation at large, particularly the northern Nigeria, where the majority of the votes will come from. Number 2, the candidates must have the backing of the Nigerian youths.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because
sir.
2023 is going to be about ballot revolution from all across the country, irrespective of tribe or religion. Number 3, the candidates must have the geographical advantage to give a sense of belonging to all and show that all geopolitical zones will have a taste of leadership, with the Southeast as the next.
Now, away from the APC, a Nigerian celebrity, Olubankole Wellington, also known as Banky W, has again emerged the winner of the PDP House of Representatives and rerun primaries for the Etiosa constituency of Lagos State. Banky W had won the PDP primaries for the constituency held on the 22nd of May across the state, and it was cancelled by the party. The musician and actor won the election with a landslide vote of 24-5. As political parties battle to take over Benue's #1 seat, the Young Progressives Party, YPP, has conducted its primaries with Robert Oria emerging as the flag bearer for the party. Meanwhile, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has visited St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, the scene of the bloody attack. Details in this report.
Here, of course, as you know, on behalf of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as the government, and to express our sincere condolences to the church and then to the people of this community.
When the church is going on, all of a sudden, when the mass is about to end, we had a 2 gunshot near this side. So everybody began to run. So what everybody's wondering, what is happening? The things start As old man, I cannot move again. I begin to scrape. So till I get to the back of a toilet, it's from that place I see wood in the wall. So I put one of my leg there, then I fall over to the other side. That is how I escape. Even my wife too, she saw a ladder there. She climbed the ladder and threw herself over. That is.
The members of the Christian Association, Owo branch, have protested against the killing of dozens of Christians at St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, in Ondo State. They took their protest to the Palace of Oloa, Oba Gbadigeshi Ogonye, to commiserate with him. The protesters were joined by the state CAN chairman, Anselm Ologbonwa, who condemned the attack in strong terms, describing it as barbaric and appealing to the government to beef up security in the state. At least 3 undetonated improvised explosive devices, IEDs, have been recovered from the scene of the Owo church attack. Suspected terrorists had stormed the church in Ondo State on Sunday, killing scores of worshippers while injuring others. The incident, which sent the nation into mourning, has been condemned by Nigerians, including the President Muhammadu Buhari and many state governors. Investigators have also recovered pellets of expended AK-47 ammunition from the scene. Now, the gunmen who killed 50 people at the Catholic Church in Owo opened fire on worshippers both inside and outside the building in a coordinated attack before escaping the scene, according to authorities and witnesses. Now, relatives of survivors of Sunday's deadly church attack, many of them children, described what happened as their loved ones received treatment for their injuries at the nearby hospital.
Father was about to give the final blessing, so all they had is a gun, shooting all over the place, and next is the bomb, followed after the gun. So when she's about to come out from the church, she now met the person that she wore green clothes. So the person now shoots her on the stomach. So she now fell down.
Get plenty injury.
Okay.
Get for head, one for the back, another one for the bum. Now multiple injury. I she get yesterday, and the wound is too deep.
In a related development, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, says the killing of worshippers by gunmen of St. Francis Catholic Church is condemnable. According to the Sultan, it is mandatory for security agencies to help in rescuing the helpless citizens that all Nigerians have become. The Sultan described the heinous attack as a crime against humanity and a grievous and inexplicable sin. Well, Mr. Femi Falana has asked the federal government to start acting on intelligence from security agencies, especially the DSS, following the Ondo Church attack. Falana commiserated with the victims and families of the attack. He said the government must go beyond issuing threats and alerting citizens of imminent attacks. This is even as he recalled that the DSS had on March the 20th issued a statement claiming that it had discovered plans to cause violence in parts of the country, particularly in the north central. In other news now, Nigeria's oldest secondary school, CMS Grammar School Bariga, Lagos, celebrated the 163rd anniversary of its establishment. And to commemorate the day, the Old Grammarian Society, OGS, held a series of activities, one of which was the launch of the solarization of its perimeter fencing. Plus TV News correspondent Uyime Afia was at the event and now reports.
The management of the institution, the Old Grammarian Society, and members of the Founders Day Planning Committee of the school kicked off the week-long program. The president of the OGS, Olu Vicent, highlighted the roles the old boys have played since the inception of the school in 1859.
What we have witnessed this morning, we have had the commissioning of an ultra-modern kitchen constructed by the 1982 set. Then we have behind me I have the beautification of a garden done by the 1994 set. Then we have the first phase of the 40 kVA power. OGS UK and America will be commissioning, we're embarking on the supply of power using solar for the entire school. So the school will be on solar panel independent of the PXC and the rest of them. They've done the first phase, 10 kVA, which we've done this morning. Then we've had the ICT building, which is in focus, which is being undertaken by OGS Americas. The ICT building is to ensure that we develop the capacity of our students, that not just in terms of ICT knowledge, ability to have their hands on touch, to be able to repair handsets, repair cell phone and the rest of them, and be able to do professional exams, even while our students in the school. So at the end of the day, by the time they're leaving the grammar school, they are equipped for the challenges of the future. They can, on their own, with the education they get in the school, be anywhere they want to be in the world.
The Anglican Bishop of Badagry, Babatunde Adeyemi, who was a guest at the event, stressed the need to pay more attention to children and youth as they are the leaders of tomorrow.
Because of the situation around, there's need to pay attention to the children. We have dedicated various projects, but the foremost project, most important project, are the children. And when they are properly groomed, we have leaders taking over from us tomorrow. So we should pay more attention to our children.
Chairman Board of Directors, Professor Afolabi, said that the foundation led by the school made him into whatever he is today.
Today, foundation was laid in the primary and the secondary school I went to, like CMS Grammar School. The friends I have today are the friends I made when I was in school. So it has made a huge difference. The instruction I got from my principals then is what has helped us through life. So we cannot underestimate the value of the education we got from CMS Grammar School. So I appreciate it, and I give God the glory for 163 years of education in Nigeria.
Chairman Planning Committee Dr. Dipo Arigbede said that they have decided to take it upon themselves to improve on and contribute to the well-being of the school and of the children at large.
Grammar school has been in existence for 163 years, and it's an annual event that we have inherited from our forefathers, and we will continue to improve on it. Highlight or part of what we have done this year is a lecture that was done a week ago during the press conference with the outgoing Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos. Professor Ogundipe was the guest speaker. We had the career talk, and we also had the prize-giving day on Friday. And this is the hallmark of everything today, which is the Thanksgiving and luncheon, today's luncheon. And as I said, it's an annual event. We'll continue to do it and improve on it every time.
The high point of the event was the presentation of prizes to some of the outstanding students and teachers. Uyime Afia, Plus TV News.
Into other parts of the continent now. On a visit to the Great Lakes region, Ambassador Bankole Adeoye, who is the Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security at the African Union, paid tribute to Burundian soldiers who died while on service in Somalia. In the company of former Burundian President Domitian Ndayizeye, who is now a member of the AU Advisory Panel, he laid a wreath of flowers on one of the RAVE's AU Peace Battalion in recognition of Burundi's contribution to this mission. This tribute comes a few weeks after the deaths of several Burundian soldiers in a terrorist attack on El Baraf, a base of the AU Transitional Mission in Somalia, ATMIS. The attack left 10 soldiers dead, 25 wounded, and 50 terrorists killed, according to official figures. Outside Africa now, Prime Minister Boris Johnson has won the backing of a majority of Tory MPs in a confidence vote despite a significant revolt against his leadership. The PM won 59% of the vote, meaning he is now immune from a Conservative leadership challenge for a year. In all, 211 Tory MPs voted. They had confidence in the MP's leadership, while 148 voted against him. Mr. Johnson described his confidence vote win as decisive, striking and not be torn. He said it was a very good, convincing result and an opportunity to put behind quote, all the stuff that the media goes on about, end of quote. The result sees the Prime Minister remain in office, but critics said the scale of the rebellion against him showed his authority had been weakened, with some calling on him to resign. The vote share in support of Mr. Johnson was lower than the 63% received by the former Prime Minister Theresa May when she won a party confidence vote in 2018, before resigning 6 months later over a Brexit deadlock. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says there are credible reports that Russia is pilfering Ukraine's grain export to sell for profit. Speaking during a virtual roundtable with philanthropists, non-governmental organizations, and private sector entities, Blinken said the alleged theft was part of a broader Russian actions during its war in Ukraine that has hit Ukraine's ability to export its wheat crop and worsen the global food security crisis.
Russian forces have captured some of Ukraine's most productive farmland. They planted explosives throughout the fields. They've destroyed vital agricultural infrastructure. There are credible reports, including, as we saw in one of our leading newspapers today, that Russia is pilfering Ukraine's grain exports, to sell for its own profit. Now, Russia is hoarding its food exports as well. So this is all deliberate. We know that. President Putin is stopping food from being shipped and aggressively using his propaganda machine to deflect or distort responsibility because it hopes it'll get the world to give in to him and end the sanctions. In other words, quite simply put, it's blackmail.
Well, let's talk business now. Amid increasing calls for diversification of the economy, Nigeria's crude oil export jumped to 5.6 trillion in the first quarter of 2022, reflecting nearly 200% increase when compared to the same period last year. The figures are contained in the Foreign Trade Report of the National Bureau of Statistics. Nigeria's total merchandise trade stood at 13 trillion naira in the fourth quarter of this year. This is indicating an increase of 11.05% over the value recorded in the fourth quarter of last year and 65.41% higher when compared to the value recorded in the fourth quarter of last year. The export trade in the quarter under review stood at 7.1 trillion naira, showing a rise of 23.1% over the value recorded in the preceding quarter and also an increase of 137.9% over the corresponding period of the preceding year. On the other hand, total imports were valued at 5.90 trillion naira, indicating a decrease of 0.7% over the value recorded in the preceding quarter. In entertainment news now, Snoop Dogg may have made some adjustment in his smoking habits. The 50-year-old rap star is famous for his advocacy of marijuana and was pictured smoking a joint as he walked the red carpet at the MTV Movie and TV Awards back in 2021, but decided not to light up for the 2022 ceremony. He said, quote, "No, I ain't smoking tonight. I'm trying to abide by the law. I've changed my ways. I've become better." End of quote. The Drop It Like It's Hot hitmaker went on to pay tribute to fellow star Jennifer Lopez, who was being honored at the annual ceremony with the Generation Award, and claimed that the accolade was well deserved because of the way her acting roles have empowered women throughout her career. Sports news now. Mohamed Salah rejected Liverpool's request to have a pre-match scan on an undisclosed injury before the forward played 90 minutes for his country on Sunday. The 29-year-old captained the side to a 1-0 victory over Guinea in Cairo as Egypt began their qualifying campaign for next year's Africa Cup of Nations. Salah was hit by an injury but played through it. That's according to the manager Ihab Galol. He added that Salah's X-ray will take place after the game. Egypt are scheduled to play an AFCON group match against Ethiopia in Malawi's capital, Lilongwe, on the 9th of June and a friendly against South Korea the following Tuesday. And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. I am Justin Akadonia. Many thanks for watching.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajit.